Greetings everyone, this is Connor from Dagora TV, and in this video I'm talking about my top 10 games from E3 2017. So before we get into this video, I want to make a really quick apology about the possible audio of this video, because I'm actually not at home for a few weeks. I'm doing an internship, so I'm having to make videos on my old laptop, which is a piece of shit, believe me. I don't know how I'm going to be able to last doing this with this fucking laptop, but the fan is mental. The fan is going mental right now, so if you can hear that in the background, I've turned it down as low as I can get it. I'm going to try and edit it out as much as I can, but if you can hear a little bit of white noise in the background, the only thing I can do is apologise. I actually couldn't be sat further away from the laptop possible with the cable, but it's still picking up some of the white noise about it, so I apologise about that. But anyway, E3 2017 was a bit of a weird E3. It was kind of like an in-between one of like not being unbelievably awesome like last year, but not being terribly bad like it was in 2013, you know, but it's still, you know, a pretty good year. You know, we've seen some good games. I've seen a lot of stuff that I'm excited about. I saw a lot of stuff as well that I couldn't really give a shit in, which, you know, is going to be for everyone, I suppose. But there's a lot to be taken away from it. You know, a lot of games that are not coming out soon, but there's some on here that I've got on this list that are coming out either early 2018 or before. But before we get into the top 10, I want to get into my honourable mentions. I've got 4 honourable mentions here. 3 of them are DLCs or add-ons to games that currently exist, so I didn't want to include them for that, and the other one is because I feel like it's going to be a long way away. So the first one is Horizon DLC. This was something that I really wanted to get out of this E3, out of the press conference. I was hoping that Guerrilla would announce it, and they did. We're going north this time as well. We're going into the icy areas. I think it's called the Frozen Wilds or something like that. So I'm very much looking forward to playing this. I loved Horizon Zero Dawn, my game of the year so far. I loved Aloy, loved the character, really enjoyed the game. So I'm very much excited to see what the DLC is going to be taking hold of. And I'm looking forward to really stepping into it again and seeing a different area and all that good stuff. Next one is Uncharted DLC. I love the Uncharted series. One of my favourite series is in gaming, so The Lost Legacy is something I'm very keen to play. Stepping away from Nathan Drake for the first time in the series is going to be interesting to see. We already knew about this game. I didn't really want to include it, but I'm very much excited for it. Probably, I'm looking to see what's on the list. Maybe other than 2 things is what I'm most looking forward to playing this year. I'm really looking forward to playing the Uncharted Lost Legacy. Next up is Skyrim VR as an honourable mention. I know I've seen all the memes on the internet of people going crazy, saying, you know, yeah, let Skyrim die, we've had enough of it now, all that good stuff. But Skyrim in VR is what I want out of VR. I really want to, you know, get into the shoes of the character and really go around and play with it. You know, I don't think I'd get it on PlayStation VR because it looks a little bit jank. I'll probably wait for it to come to the Vive because, you know, then we can get the really up-res graphics and everything. But Skyrim VR seems like something that I've been waiting so long for VR, and I was loving every minute of it when I was watching it on the screen and hearing people talk about playing it and everything. And the last honourable mention is Detroit Become Human. This is because a couple of reasons. I'm still as excited for the game as I was when they first showed it off in 2016. It's just I feel the game is so far away. I don't think it's the fact that they didn't give it even a yearly release date at the end of it, so it's definitely not going to be in 2018. I just feel like even 2019 is maybe a little bit of a push. This game seems so far away to me in my mind. I just don't really want to include it onto the list. And also, I didn't really get much more out of the new trailer, to be honest with you. I'm still kind of got that same level of excitement. I just didn't want to include it on the list when all these ones I expect to be coming out within the next year and a half. I tried to keep it to at most 2018 releases. So, let's go straight to number 10. Knack 2! Probably, not many people I don't think will be including Knack 2 on their list of top 10 games for E3 or top 5 games or whatever. But Knack 2 is something that really surprised me when I was watching actually the Jeff Keighley Game Slice live stream that he did in 2 days for E3 this year. He does it every year now, it seems. I really like the show that they put on where they showcase a lot of games that are not really showcased at the conference and stuff like that. And Knack 2 was one of them, where Mark Cerny came on onto the interview with Jeff Keighley and showed him some of the mechanics of the game and some of the really cool platforming aspects. And this game looks like a really fun third-person platformer to play on your own. Like, I love some of the different mechanics that they've got in it. It seems like they've worked on it a lot from the first one, and they said, yeah, the first one wasn't a great game. You know, we kind of wanted to get it out there at launch, and it just didn't work out well. We've kind of taken it back, looked at it for a couple of years, and really tried to work on it and bring out some new levels. And this game's got a lot of secrets, it looks like. Okay, people who have played demos of it have been pleasantly surprised. So Knack 2 seems like a game that I'd actually really enjoy, personally. I kind of like these games, and it's kind of got that double-A edge to it, you know, like it's got the polish of a AAA game, but it's kind of still kind of got that indie look to it, if that makes sense. So I'm really looking forward to playing Knack 2. It's out September 5th, made by Sony Interactive Japan Studio, which is Mark Cerny's studio. I'm looking forward to giving this a go, mainly because of that, you know, I think it's a cool character to play as, you know, getting bigger and everything. I actually played the first Knack on a demo at EGX in 2013, and I thought that was it was an interesting game to play. It was fun to play as a demo, but then when I was watching playthroughs of it to see if I wanted to get a purchase, I was like, nah. Well, it might be the same case here, but I was kind of intrigued. So September 5th may be a possible purchase for me, especially the fact as well that it's at $40 price point, not a $60 price point, which I think is the right way to go for a game like this. And number 9 for me is God of War, which is made by Santa Monica Studio. And this really caught my eye last year with the whole kind of 10-minute gameplay demo that they chose to start off the Sony press conference last year, of him, you know, showing his relationship with his son, teaching how to fight and everything. I was really intrigued by that direction that God of War was going, this kind of Norse mythology route that it's going for. The reason for that is because I was never really interested in God of War. I thought the spectacle of it was really cool, but it was just not something that really gravitated towards me, whereas this kind of father-son relationship in kind of more of a Viking-like territory grabs my interest. It's something that I'm kind of really looking forward to, and it kind of seems that they're kind of having a lot of fun with the mythology as well, but kind of keeping it serious, which I kind of appreciate. But it looks like in the trailer that they released this year that he's starting Ragnarok. That's what it kind of looks like to me, but I'm looking forward to kind of giving it a go. There's definitely the 2 trailers that they've shown and the gameplays that they've showed have definitely got me to, you know, really look out for this game when it comes out, to see what reviews are like, to see if I should buy it or not. But the combat looks cool from the first one. You know, you still find those really huge, colossal size monsters, so it's still maintaining its scale. And I just thought it really got my interest again. I want to say that again, it intrigued me, and I'm looking forward to when it comes out. So I'll see if I can give it a go or not. And number 8 is The Impatient, which is made by Supermassive Games, and is kind of like the spiritual successor slash prequel, or sequel or whatever, pre-sequel, to Until Dawn. It's set 60 years before Until Dawn, so it's still maintaining its horror roots, and set in a mental asylum, set in a mental institution. I loved Until Dawn. If you've been following the channel along, in 2015 it was actually my second game of the year, my top 2 game of the year, behind The Witcher 3, and actually topped over Rocket League. I think if I went back and did the list again, I'd probably put Rocket League ahead of it. But I loved the game. It was my biggest surprise in a long time for when it really came out. I was not expecting anything of it when they showed the first PlayStation Move demo. Not interested in it at all, and it was a massive shock. It really got me. I really loved the game. And The Impatient seems to kind of go around that story of the 50s that we kind of explore when we're playing the game, of, you know, the Wendigos and stuff like that, trying to see how they became them and what really went on in that mental institution. So I'm really looking forward to playing it. Well, I'll have to wait and see if it's going to be any good. You know, like, it's hard to do a prequel when I kind of feel like I got a lot of what I wanted from the story, so I think they're maybe going down a bit more of a horror route than they are the kind of the branching story paths and everything like that, the character moments and all that cool stuff, which I really liked about the game. I preferred that a lot more than the horror elements, because it's not that scary of a game, if you know what I mean. I don't really like horror games, so I hope they kind of go down still the branching story and choices route, because that's really what set the game apart, I feel, and really got people interested in it, was the branching paths and all that cool stuff. So we'll have to see what that's going to be like. We'll have to wait until we get more information and everything. It says it's coming 2018. We'll have to wait and see about that. Like, that's kind of really why it's further down the list. I think it would be further up the list if we had a set release date, because I feel like the game's going to be 2019, at least. You know, I don't think it's going to be 2018. I think the first Until Dawn was delayed numerous times, and I don't think this one's going to be out next year, when they barely showed anything this time. You know, it's going to be playable in VR as well. They kind of have a good touch with the VR, the Supermassive game, so we'll have to wait and see when it comes out. But it's definitely got me. The first game kind of really got me into that world and that story and everything, so I hope they kind of maintain that style of game when going into The Impatient. Next up is Metro Exodus, which is made by 4A Games. This is number 7 on the list, and Metro Exodus is a game I've been waiting for, actually, to hear about for quite a long time now. I really enjoyed the first 2 Metro games, 2033 and Last Light, and it's been about 4 or 5 years, I think 5 years? 4 years since I played it anyway, since we heard about Metro or any news of a Metro game or anything like that. So it was kind of due course that, you know, we was going to get the announcement of a new Metro game. And it seems like, yeah, we're traveling. We actually looks like we're leaving Russia in Metro Exodus. It's still kind of, it's getting more inspired by 2035, the novel, that book, more than it is any of the others, which is a progression of the story. It seems like it looks like I will have to actually replay the first 2 Metro games to really kind of get into grips with it, because there's a lot I remember, but it's more like the style of the game I remember that clung with me more than anything than the characters. So I'd kind of like them to improve down that front, get more memorable characters and then a bit more of a memorable story, and kind of take from the books, I suppose, in that aspect. Because the gameplay style was really cool, having just a torchlight and kind of really kind of gloomy survival horror look to it. But yeah, like they had really cool enemy types, which it looks like they've transferred over into Metro Exodus. That wolf looked fantastic, and yes, it's E3 game demo kind of thing, you know, where it's exaggerated to look as pretty as it can, but I think it will look that good on my PC, and I'm looking forward to go back into Metro. It's a series that seems to me is going to be one of those where I kind of jump in every time they bring a game out, and yeah, it will fill that void for me of that RPG I've been missing kind of thing. It's maybe that Fallout style RPG. They've got a cool combat system to it, and like this kind of resistance vibe to it as well, which I really like. So Metro Exodus definitely warrants a place on the list for me. And number 6, it's Skull and Bones, which is made by Ubisoft Singapore, and Skull and Bones definitely looks like, you know, they've got the Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Black Flag engine, and the combat system, the ship movements and everything like that, and took all the praise and what the adoration that people had for that system of the ships in Black Flag, and made a game out of it, which really, really got me. You know, it's definitely a thing where I really want to see more of this game, because when they first showed the trailer, there was a pirate game controlling the ship in the Black Flag area. It kind of looked like Black Flag 2, to be honest with you. I was really, really, really heavily intrigued. I was so into it, though much there was a big surprise to me that it probably could have maybe even taken game of the show for me, because I really, really love pirate games. I so interested in pirate games. I loved Black Flag. It's my favourite Assassin's Creed game, simply for the reason of being on the ship. I didn't want to get off the damn ship. I loved being on the ship. I wanted to sail the damn waters and kill everyone that was going around and take the loot. I really enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to doing that in this. But it does seem, though, that you're very restrictive in what you can do. Like, it does seem that you are literally going around, sailing around, collecting loot, and then upgrading your ship, and that's pretty much it. You're not, you know, being able to go off and do treasure hunts on islands and stuff like that, not being able to go on to other ships, you know, and find some of the other crewmates. It seems to be more like a quick cutscene kind of thing. I'd like them to kind of maybe improve that, which will take a lot of work to do, but I think they should maybe go back and add some of that stuff in there, add a bit more of a combat system in there, man-to-man, where you can maybe get off your ship and go onto other ships and stuff. I'd like that personally. I'd like to see as well what kind of more they'd like to do single player, because it says you can do it on your own, but is it going to be like the Division, where the Division PvP, where you're just kind of roaming around waiting to find people, or is it going to be, you know, something a bit more where you can really play the game solo, complete single player with that? But they said you need an internet connection, so it seems that it's going to be an always online world, which is, you know, kind of dampens me a little bit, but I'm definitely wanting to give this game a go, because I really love Black Flag that much. And it could be one of those games I could just jump into every now and then, which, you know, I always appreciate those kind of games in my life, where, you know, I just jump in for a game every couple of weeks or something like that, or just to sail around for a little bit, meet a few people, meet a few players, meet a few merchants and take them out, stuff like that, and upgrade the shit. That'd be really fun. It could be like, maybe a bit like Eve, you know, it could be something along that route, you know, like the pirate version of Eve, where there's huge kind of colonies of pirates kind of sailing around, and guilds and all that cool stuff, where people get more powerful and, you know, have a hierarchy and stuff like that. That'd be really interesting to me if it goes down that route, but it's got to have a hardcore player base, and to get that, I think it needs to have a really, really good progression system and a motivation to keep going, I think, or else it will kind of drop out. And it is a thing, yep, it's coming out, they say it's coming out in 2018, they're doing a beta. We'll see if it comes out in 2018 again. I won't be surprised if this is something like a summer or even late 2019 game, but because I think they're going to get a lot of feedback from the beta that they'll go away, take into account, and really use that. But it's definitely got me interested. I really want to get in that beta to give it a go. And number 5 for me, it's A Way Out, which is made by the same guys who made A Tale of Two Sons, which is, you know, a tremendous indie game. Come out, I believe, in 2012 on everything. You know, it's on phones, for Christ's sake, and Xbox 360, PS4, Xbox One, all the consoles, really. Maybe except Nintendo. But it's made, yeah, it's basically you control 2 characters in that game with the left thumbstick and the right thumbstick. Very much, you know, kind of co-op driven, kind of, so it's beating puzzles with you and, you know, controlling 2 characters pretty much. Really, really liked the game. It was only a short experience, a couple of hours. There's no dialogue in the game, solving puzzles, but it really tells a story throughout its mechanics, which I really, really loved, and loved playing that game. I was really intrigued by Brothers. I was actually got the recommendation really by watching Total Biscuit's podcast, the co-optional podcast, and went away and played it and become like a real big fan of what they were making. So I've been looking forward to seeing what they were going to make for quite some time. And at the EA conference, they just come out and showed A Way Out, which is like a prison escape game but it kind of carries on after that, where you have to play this co-op, whereas the last game they had was single player. This you have to play as co-op. They said you could play it on the couch or with someone online, which is what I'll be doing. But you see the other screen at all times, which is really, really cool. It'd be nice if you can have it on kind of dual screens, you know, if like on a PC you can play with dual monitors, like one character on one screen and the other guy on the other screen. That'd be really cool. Because that's what I'd like. That's how I'd be playing the game if I will, to be honest with you. But it just looks really interesting, like, you know, that you can have that connection to the story with a friend. You know, I'd be very much really intrigued to play this game. I've been looking forward to seeing what they're going to be doing for quite a long time since I first played the game. It was only a short experience. This one seems to be quite a bit longer. Also, you know, I really like the way that people can move out of cutscenes. So, like, you can see a cutscene where the other character could be setting up the next part of the game and stuff. And it seems there's so many different permutations of what we can do in the game that it encourages multiple playthroughs to play with multiple people, play the different characters to get a different side of the story. I'm very intrigued by what they've got. It's coming out early 2018. Again, I say made by Hazelight. Really looking forward to seeing what they're going to be doing with it. The developer, by the way, the most attractive developer I've ever seen in a human being. Beautiful man. Beautiful, beautiful man. And he's very confident about his game as well, which I admire in a human being. So I'm looking forward to seeing A Way Out come out early 2018. I'm probably going to be a day one buy for me, if I'm going to be honest with you. At number 4, it's Middle-earth Shadow of War, made by Monolith, coming out October 10th. Shadow of War is a game, you know, I cover on the channel. I do a few videos here and there about Shadow of War. I'm very much looking forward to the game. I love Shadow of Mordor. If you follow the channel, there's not really a lot more I can say about it that I'm really interested in. But I was actually not going to include the game on the list because I kind of knew everything that they said on there. But I actually decided to include it because there's actually something that really kind of cemented my interest in something. That was the follower system, which I'm going to make a video about separately in Shadow of War. Because the orc that you meet when he shows the great personality and how his kind of voice changed from kind of being dark and grimacing to when you get him as a follower, kind of turning full on Aussie and really funny and stuff like that. I really wanted that and showed that to me that the follower system is going to work and something that I can play with. Game looks fantastic. Go check my other videos out about Shadow of War, which I've made. I really love the game. I'll be covering it all the way up to release on October 10th. Probably wait up till midnight to play the game. I love the series so far, the first game that they've had, and I'm very confident that Michael Deplatte and Monolith are going to be able to really knock it out of the park again. Now, the top 3 for me kind of had a little deliberation of where I should place different things, because any of these top 3 could have been number 1. But I've decided to go with Spider-Man at number 3. And this is something made by Insomniac, a studio which I absolutely adore. Insomniac games. I love Sunset Overdrive. Really loved the Ratchet & Clank game, and from a childhood, you know, the Spyro the Dragon games and stuff like that. It's a really big studio, Insomniac, and I think they make fantastic games, and I think they're the perfect people to play Spider-Man, getting that humour from Ratchet & Clank into there. And everything that they showed in that Spider-Man gameplay was exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to get the Arkham treatment. I wanted the game to have, you know, that really fun cinematic Uncharted-like set pieces, and they've got that with the quick-time events, which people are kind of brandishing about as a negative, but not for me. You know, it's what I'm really interested in. It's a complete solo Spider-Man story as well, which I really, really like. I don't want it to be mingling with other Avengers and all these bullshit, you know. Spider-Man, if you didn't know, is my 3rd favourite superhero, I'd probably say, behind Batman and Superman. But absolutely adore Spider-Man. I'm very nervous about the film coming out this year, but I'm really, really looking forward to the game. I'm looking more forward to the game than I am the movie, if I'm going to be honest with you. And I just think that Insomniac are going to do so well with it. Like, before the game was announced last year, and there was a lot of rumours that it was going to be Sucker Punch, the guys behind Infamous. But I was so happy when I saw that it was actually Insomniac that are going to be making the game. I'm really looking forward to when it comes out. It says 2018. I actually believe this is going to be 2018, if I'm going to be honest with you. It seems they've come a long way from last year. They need to fix the HUD, the UI, I think, because it looks... I don't think it looks great, to be honest with you. I don't like the hints at the bottom right, but that'll be something you can turn off. I just love how New York looks in the game, you know, just seeing the Freedom Tower and stuff like that in the background and the Chrysler Building. I'm just going to have so much fun going around the city. I'm really looking forward to seeing the area that we can play with and kind of going into the story, because I'm not really I'm not a comic reader at all of Spider-Man, actually. So when people are saying this is Mr. Negative and all this good stuff, I'm looking forward to seeing what these people actually like, because I don't know them. I'm just like really a cartoon watcher of Spider-Man as a kid, and the film watcher as well. So I'm looking forward, and also the games. So I'm looking forward to seeing who these people are in retrospect, and really kind of how interesting they are as characters to the story. So I'm really looking forward to Spider-Man. Just got into 3rd place. And the reason it kind of got into 3rd place is because the game is out 2018, whereas the next ones are kind of going to be out either early 2018 or before that. So I'm kind of more excited for them at the moment in time because they're coming sooner. And number 2 is Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, the new game by Machine Games, which was teased last year at Bethesda's E3 press conference, which kind of confirmed it was in development. I'm very much looking forward to Wolfenstein 2. I loved the first one, The New Order. Fantastic game. One of those games that stuck out from 2014, like I always say, every time it gets brought up. But crazy game. You know, you went fucking everywhere in Wolfenstein 2. I've said in a couple of my Bethesda reactions that, you know, if my god, imagine if the Bethesda conference didn't have Wolfenstein 2 as an announcement and just had The Evil Within 2. My god, what an awful conference. But Wolfenstein 2 definitely had the best trailer of E3, and all that kind of 10-minute stuff that they showed of that gameplay, and the really cool kind of changing, you know it's German kind of quiz show, and the Lassie parody and stuff like that. I really enjoyed watching it, and yeah, it looks like they've got a cool cast of characters that we're playing with as well. Hearing people talk about the first level in the game where you're in a wheelchair shooting people is going to be really cool to play through. The game is wacky, and I love the crazy moments in that game, like when you get high with Jimi Hendrix and he's playing his guitar. I loved Wolfenstein. I loved how they went with that game, and I really hope this is going to be fantastic. I've got full faith in Machine Games that it's going to be out October 27th. And it's Bethesda's landmark release this year, if you're not counting The Evil Within 2, which I'm not. So I'm really looking forward to really seeing how it's going to turn out, Wolfenstein 2. I think it's going to sell really well. It's made me want to go back and play the first Wolfenstein game, because I haven't played that game since 2015, and I really loved it, and yeah, I'm definitely going to be jumping into it again before Wolfenstein 2 comes out. Might actually be the first game I play when I get back from this internship, actually. I'm really getting a strong urge to play that game again. And number 1 is Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is Rare's new game, Rare legendary video game studio. And this game is tipped to be coming out early 2018. Again, something that I actually believe. I think this game will be out around the March time of 2018. Can't wait for this game. Cannot wait for Sea of Thieves. I was in, to be honest, when they did the crappy Let's Play demo of Sea of Thieves at 2016's E3, when they got all of the YouTubers talking through it and everything. And the reason for that was not because of the way they showed it. I thought the way they showed it was absolutely terrible, but because of what the mechanics that they showed in the game, like just stupid things like getting drunk, sailing the high seas, looking for treasure and stuff like that. The fundamentals of that, I know that given the kind of opportunities to do that, me and my group of friends are going to have an absolute blast playing this game. Absolute blast, because we're the kind of group of mates that kind of really, we roleplay a lot. You know, we kind of create a lot of scenarios, ridiculous scenarios for everyone, and just have a whale of a time playing a lot of crappy games. So I think this, not that I think it's a crappy game, because this new gameplay demo that they showed of, you know, treasure hunting and sudden pirate fights and stuff like that, and the cool things you could do, like shoot people like cannons. I think this game is going to be an absolute hell of a blast for us to play, and it's coming to PC as well. If it was coming to Xbox, I wouldn't be playing this game, but because it's coming to the crappy Windows Store, I'm going to put up with it, because I'm going to play it out early 2018. I know what you'll be saying, I put Spider-Man lower in the release thing, because it was coming out end of 2018, this is coming out early 2018, Wolfenstein's coming out beforehand, but I just think that I'm going to have more fun with this game than any of the other games on the list. We're going to have a blast with this game, and it looks like a game that this game could go one of two ways, I think. It could be a game where we play heavily for the first couple of weeks after it comes out, have a great time with it and don't go on it again, maybe dabble on it again a couple of times in the future, or just be one of those regular games where we go hard on it early on, and then when the group's on, we just go, should we just have a couple of games? Which I'm hoping it's going to be, because if there's enough there, and a real incentive to carry on other than just fucking around, it's going to be great. But that incentive to just fuck around is going to be enough for me to warrant a purchase, and warrant the group a purchase. We're all looking forward to this game, to Sea of Thieves. They've won me over now with 2 demos. I'm pumped for it, and hearing people play for it and watch gameplay of it all just looks like a game for us to really jump into. So that's my list. That's my top 10 games of E3 this year. It was actually quite difficult to make a list, to be honest with you, especially, like, it was hard to set games down in a place, especially in the top 1 to 3, and then as well 4 to 6 was quite difficult, and then trying to get a couple more to put onto the end as well was kind of a little bit tricky, because there was some really cool games like that we saw this year that were really interesting outside, like The Last Night and things like that. I just don't think those games are going to be out for a really long time. I just didn't want to include them on the list. Again, another thing with Detroit, I'm looking forward to Detroit to come out. I just don't think that game's out for a long time. And I'm just really looking forward to a lot of games, you know, coming out in the near future. We've got a Tacoma release date as well, which, again, was a game I'm really looking forward to this year, which is Steve Gainer's new game, the guy from Gone Home. I'm really looking forward to that game. It's just that I didn't put that on the list because other than the blip announcing the release date, I haven't seen anything from that because I don't want to see anything about it. So I just didn't want to put that on the list. It's like, yeah, that's my top game from E3 this year because if you've got a release date, that's not really how I like to do stuff. I'm kind of going off stuff of what I've seen, and it was kind of tough again, like making this list, but yeah, this is what we've seen in some of the surprises. I'm really looking forward to Way Out, like I say, it's probably the biggest surprise of the show. That, Skull and Crossbones and The Impatient, Metro Exodus as well. But yeah, so let me know what your top games from E3 this year are. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of different lists we get out there. There's going to be some stuff as well that I've probably missed out that you're probably going to yell at me at, or stuff that you're interested in that I'm not. Like, I don't give a shit about Metroid 4 or Mario Odyssey. You know, I'm probably the only person with a top 10 games list that doesn't have Mario on it, but I just don't think it looks very good. I'm sorry, guys. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Please let me know what you think. Follow me on Twitter, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on Twitter, Gorasee, that is. Subscribe for more content about general gaming as well on the channel, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.